Yeah, welcome back. Some of the students will ask me to teach again about the valuation of an consignment. Okay, now we will take down. First thing, what you need to do in valuation. Okay, this valuation in your books, it will be different. In my classes, it will be different. This valuation, it is a comprehensive of abnormal loss along with closing stock. Both the things we have, that is closing stock means consignment stock. Everything we could done it in same way. What is the method? First, we will open three columns. What are the three columns? One is particulars column, one is units column, one is amounts column. What is the first thing we need to write? We will write goods sent on consignment at. If the question is based on invoice price, we will write it as invoice price. Or if the question is based on cost itself, we will write it as cost. We will give the values here. We will give the amount values. And we should add only whose expense? Consignor's expense, because it is a direct expense. Consignor's expense. That thing we need to add. So if you add, the unit remains same, but the value will increase. That is the first point. Then there can be a situation, if I will use the word if there is loss in transit. In a transportation, there can be some loss. Okay, that loss, if I'm carefully using the word if, okay, if it is done, you need to deduct the units. Okay, this amount can be depends. What you need to do, you should cross multiply. What is this amount denotes? This amount denotes if it is a normal loss. What is it? If it is a normal loss, in amount column, amount is going to be what? 0. Suppose if abnormal loss is given, calculation should be done using cross multiplication. Using what? Cross multiplication. This is done right. You are getting your values right. This value, after that, I will add. Don't add consignor expense, and add consignee's expense, non-recurring expense, and don't less it. If it is less in transit, after the consignor's expense, you need to deduct the loss in transit. And consignees, whose consignees non-recurring expense, whose consignees non-recurring expense means consignees direct expenses. What is this consignees direct expenses? That amount I need to add, the units remain same. I will get my values. Once it is done, there can be, once the goods reaches the godown, there can be a loss in godown. Loss in godown. This loss in godown as need to value, because this is into, this is also is going to be question mark. Even in the situation, you can happen normal loss, or even it can happen what? Abnormal loss also. I will put it a star mark here, round it, and I will put the same thing star mark here and round it. Okay, because in both the situation, you are going to follow the same method. If it is a normal loss, amount is value is going to be 0. If it is abnormal loss, it will be multiplied. If it is abnormal loss or normal loss, if it is occurred due to fire, it is abnormal loss. It is a nature of the goods. The loss has been done in the nature of the goods. It can be normal loss. It depends on the question. Okay, it is going to be same. And after this, we are getting your values, right? You are getting your values. In this value, You need to less sold. Everyone what the mistake they have committed, no? They will write the units here. Units as per question. You need to write. The amount, always you need to do cross multiplication. What others will do, no? They will write the do not write selling price, or you can say it as sale price value. Don't write this. Using cross multiplication, our aim is to find the cost price of the goods sold. So I kindly request everyone, don't do this mistake. If you're doing again the same mistake, it is not in my hand. It is totally up to you. You are going to waste your one attempt. Okay, once everything has done. Okay, once everything has done, you are going to get your final value. This is known as consignment stock at year end. Are you able to understand it? Is it easier? Suppose that can be one situation. Suppose if it is at cost, it will be easier for you. Is it right? It will be very much easier for you. This step and all you are going to focus. Suppose if it is invoice price, it is includes load also. Is it right? Suppose if it is load on abnormal loss. Suppose if it is load on abnormal loss, you need to multiply the load per unit into units lost. Or you can use another way. Cost into total load. Fraction cost. It means suppose they are saying 15% or it can be say 10%. That is known as fraction cost. Example, 10% of the goods, 20% of the goods, 15% of the goods into total load value. If it is 50,000, 50,000 into 10%, 5% is a load value. That can also be one method. Suppose next thing I want to say load on closing stock, that is consignment stock. You can say it in another word. What is it called? Stock reserve. This under is same. Load per unit into units. It is the most important unsold. Or you can take the fraction cost into total load. Is it easier? Total load. Then few notes I need to give it to you. A few notes I need to give it. If first point, consignor. If consignor incurs expenses on two pay basis. In their question, they will give you two pay basis. There is an assignment problem also. It means incurred by consignor but paid by consignee. And next point. If question remaining silent, answer. Loss is always equal to what? Abnormal loss. Okay. Suppose if both normal loss and abnormal loss. If I wanted to write it now, I will write it. Normal loss and abnormal loss. Just a minute. I got some calls. Just a minute. Be on the online. Okay, just be on the online. Just a minute. I'm audible. Is it I'm audible right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, fine. Suppose in your question, if both normal loss and abnormal loss are given or in transit, let's say as an example, transit, or you can take it as go down first, subtract. First thing what you need to do, subtract abnormal loss and then normal loss. There can be some of them, there can be conflict between this. Some of them will say normal loss directed to be first and abnormal loss directed to be second. Okay, but what ICAI has done now, they will deduct abnormal loss first and then they will deduct the normal loss. This is a pattern they will follow. So we will also follow the same pattern. We are not deviation from this. Okay, ICAI. But can you ask which is more logical? First deduct the normal loss and then deduct the abnormal loss will be more logical. But as per ICA pattern, ICA is following to deduct abnormal loss first and then the normal loss. We will follow this. Can you give the example, some sir? Yes, surely I will give. In our assignment problem, question number 9. Question number 9. You can, in our assignment problem material, you can choose the question number 9 as an example for this. With this, concept of valuation is done. Suppose what is it? I will just recall the steps you want to follow. Okay, this until don't write it in your exams. Steps to follow. What are the steps you can avoid? That also I will tell to you. What's the first step? Step 1. Calculation of GSC and total load. If total load irunda, if it is happened, you need to calculate. What is the step 2? Schedule of expenses. Suppose 1 or 2 expenses you can directly write down. If there are 5 to 6 expenses, you should prepare schedule of expenses. What's the step 3? Calculation of sales. Even if it is done once cash sales, it is fine. Directly put it in your consignment account. If it is 2 to 3 sales has been done, you should prepare calculation of sales. Then for calculation of commission, if it is an ordinary commission, directly put it in consignment account. If ordinary overriding is given, kindly prepare a working note. Step 5, valuation of stock and abnormal loss. If abnormal loss, you should prepare. Always for stock, you need to prepare. This is mandatory working note. This and all optional. This and all what? Optional. For this, it is optional. If it is at cost, it is optional. For if it is load, it is mandatory. Then only it will be easier for you. Okay. And after this, step 6, if they are asking to prepare in the books of consignor, you should prepare in the books of consignor. How many accounts in the books of consignor? Total 4 accounts. If they are asked to prepare, you should prepare consignment account first, and then consignees account, then abnormal loss account, then GSE account. What is step 7? If this and all, if condition applicable. If means if they ask, you should prepare. Always, which question they will ask? Consignor they will ask, or they will ask this and all, they will mandatorily ask. Sometimes they will also like abnormal loss account. Okay, and what is the 6th point? If they want to ask you the question difficult, no, they will ask you to prepare what? Prepare the books of consignee. How many accounts you are going to prepare in the books of consignee? One is consignor account. One is debtors account. From consignee point of view, it is not abnormal loss, it is commission. It is what? Commission. These 3 accounts which will do. This is the mandatory accounts to be prepared. This and all you need to prepare. If there is credit, any credit transaction, you should prepare. If the commission, declaratory overriding commission, you should prepare. This and all are if condition. If consignor question is asked, you should compulsorily prepare consignment account. Without consignment account, the consignment chapter is nothing. Okay, if they are asking consignment, any question from the consignment chapter, without consignment, no, it is a crime. So you should prepare these 7 steps to score very good marks. Okay, I hope all your doubts in your consignment has been clear right now. Okay, so if you want to take a screenshot, just take it. I will just what I can do, just minimize it and you can take it down. Those who are watching in an app or some things you are watching in YouTube, anyhow, you can just pause the video and you can take a screenshot. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, now it is fine, perfectly fine. Is it done? Yes. Up to this, take this as a second screenshot. Next, take this 7 points. With this 7 points, entire consignment is done. I hope it has been done properly. Okay, I hope all your doubts has been clear. Again, I am saying this. Keep good grip on concepts rather than omitting it. If you have the concept grip, it will be easier and it will be cakewalk for. Okay, just do good. All the best for your preparation. With this, you can do your exams really well. Okay, thank you. Have a good day and meet you in another doubt solving session.